Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, April 22nd, 2024. Here for my weekly cross-stitching update. I have just the typical things to share. I guess first off, I should share my finish because it's also a shop update. Finally got my sample model stitch finished for the new Herschel and Lucy design. This one is called Daisy, and they're so precious. So Herschel is the bird and Lucy is the little ladybug. So this was a 28 count. It feels like a tea-dyed Monaco, mostly 2/2. The little ladybug is charted 1/1, but that's it. You can do it. I have some fractionals around the bird just because I like a smooth backstitching situation, but the grasses and flowers are not, they're just all full cross. So I kind of felt like that was a nice blend of techniques to create the look I liked. So I'm happy with this one. I did run into some problems with my charting software earlier today when I was trying to finalize the pattern. So I don't know that I'll be able to get the pattern up in my shop until tomorrow. Today's going to be pretty busy. So be looking for that. It should be up soon. Hopefully I can get all my kinks worked out and get the pattern up and ready, available to you guys. So it should be ready, available as a PDF and a print copy. So that's exciting to finally get that done. I guess we'll do travel stitching. I finally got some temperature turtles worked on. This is also one of my designs. You can find in my Etsy shop. I got behind, and so I'm not fully caught up, but there's improvement. So here is where I'm at now. This is 28 count Jobelin in Caribbean blue, I think. 1/1 full cross. Sorry, all my information just kind of whoop. I think it's Caribbean blue. Looks like a nice ocean, which is fun. So I finished March over here, including the straight stitches around the patches, so you can see those distinctly now. And then I started doing more on April. April is not cut up yet, but getting March finished felt good. So I focused a little bit more time on getting that done before coming over here and working on April some more. So there's all of the outside of the shell. Those days are all ready to fill in, as well as a few more of the inside ones, and all of the, arms and legs. And so that will be coming. I'll hopefully get more extra bits and bobs this coming week to get that closer to caught up, if not all the way caught up. We'll have to see how it goes. It kind of depends sometimes on how many patches are the same color, because if they're all different colors throughout the week, then you have to change your thread for each patch. There's a lot of color changes. The temperatures have been up and down and all around, so there's not too many duplicate colors in the turtle. So you can do 1 or 2 patches, but then you just have to, tie it off and do some more. So when you can do a lot of things with the same color on your needle, it does definitely helps it go faster. I did work on my cats and hearts a little bit this past week. I am now on the April one, which I started this past week, I believe. So this is by Kitty and Me Designs. I've got the first 3 done, so now I'm on April. I got a little behind on these as well, so I'm not to the point on them that I would like to be at this stage in the month, but that's okay. Every little bit helps, and I am enjoying these quite a bit. So here's this one. I believe there's no before picture because this is new. 25 count even weave in the color white. 1/1 full cross. So I'm working, since the very center was like this dark green. Usually I've been doing the colors from the lightest to the darkest, color completing, kind of going back and forth between. There's usually been 2 colors so far, so I'll go back and forth between one set of like greens and then purples, like on the March one. So I get a little bit of everything all the time, but this one seemed to lend itself to do all the green all at once. And so these stems and leaves are mostly finished now. There's still, I think, 2 more shades of green, which will help us, well, maybe 2.5. I think this lightest color is actually still down here some more. But then there's some light greens up here, and there's some vines and stuff that's down here that you can't really tell is happening yet because the darker shades weren't used in those. So it's interesting, but I think I am happy doing all the green. Then I might choose, I haven't decided yet if I'll go to the reds or the yellows, but we'll see. Got a little bit of start on the kitty. That's on my needle right now, so I should get more of the kitty done this week. Have some appointments with the kids that will be easy to do the cat, because then you can just go back and forth. You don't have to count as much. So, oh yeah. I have a piece of stash acquisitions, but I'll share that in a minute. I guess I could show that now. I went to my local needlepoint shop on Wednesday, and I worked on Daisy while I was there, my model stitch. And she has to move and has to at least hopefully temporarily close her doors. So everything in the shop was 50% off. I looked around a little bit and I ended up only coming home with this, but it was still really pretty. This is from Nancy's Needle Spring Barn Quilts. And there was a summer one that someone else took home before I even saw it. And then there was like a winter one that I saw. This one is really my colors though, so I'm okay just having this one. I attempted to kit it up while I was there as well, but the colors that were the most variegated were not in stock. And so then it gave me pause, and I thought, well, you know, I could just do this. I have some Congress cloth, 24 count. This is charted for an 18 count mono canvas because it's counted canvas, not cross stitch. So I could do this on the 24 count Congress cloth with DMC instead of the pearl cottons and such that are called for. So I think it will be fairly easy to convert this. There's 3 Karen watercolors, which I could convert to water lilies, or just fancy floss in my stash if I have something equivalent. And then everything else is a DMC pearl cotton, which I could easily just transition that to DMC. So I liked that. That was cute. So that's all I came away with. But I had fun stitching there, and hopefully she'll be able to come back at some point. So I also worked on Frosted Pumpkin, Castle Homecoming Sal, or Castle Homecoming Club. I guess they call these clubs. This was the stitch along for last year, and I am attempting to chip away at mine to try to finish it by the end of the year. We'll see if I need to add more time to it, other than just my 1 hour a week. So far it's very slow going, but that's okay. It's more than nothing. This is 28 count Ice Blue Lugana 1/1 full cross with my own fancy floss conversion. And I worked up here in the background scene. So I finished out the green in the willow tree. There's still a trunk in there. And I found my floss to finish up the last gray in the castle. There will still be some backstitching around the windows. And there's a shield right there, some sconces and, you know, things. There's a few more details, but the castle is mostly finished. And then, oh yeah, so I found my thread that I had been missing. I realized it had been a while since I finished my last letter fairy for my niece, but I was using grays in my letter fairy. So I think since I worked on this part of the castle, I probably was still working on my letter fairy. So that color that I was missing was still in that bag, because I'm not de-kitting my letter fairies until I kit up the next one, and because some of the colors are reused from fairy to fairy. So I was thinking, well, I'll just leave it all in here until I'm ready to go. So my gray ended up staying in there. So mystery solved. Okay, so regular stitching. I believe that's all I worked on outside of my regular stitching. So I did Bear Time Stories for a couple days. Not a lot of progress on this, but every little bit helps, right? This is Mini Bear Time Stories by Randall Spangler, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm doing this for my son, and I'm doing it extreme cross country. So I don't know how much you'll be able to see. I did finish, I didn't write this down, but I think I finished 2 colors, and I got 320 stitches, which is not good. These are half stitches, so I would hope to get a lot more than that, but I had very little time to stitch on Monday and Tuesday, so I'll take what I can get. I think I had some reds and some gray. I don't honestly remember. Maybe that was the only 2. So yeah, hopefully you can see some difference. This is 40 count vertical, 1/1 half stitches. So I'm hoping eventually, I know I may put my parents' anniversary piece that I haven't started yet in my family rotation when Visit Endor is finished. But what I was originally thinking I could do is, as I finish these, I will, rather than working on them once a month, I'll just have them in a rotation. So if I end up with only 3 family pieces, I'll do, 1, 2, 3 project and go right back into the next one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all the way down every week, so that they'll get more than once every 3 weeks instead of once every month. So that kind of thing will help push things along a little better to make up for some of these weeks that aren't getting as much as they could, because life happens. So that's what I'm hoping will happen eventually, to help kind of accelerate them as they get closer to a finish, closer to their due dates, really. Delightful Waltz was my Whip Go piece that I was working on Friday and Saturday. And I actually really like my progress on this one. I don't know how much you'll be able to see because this is quite a large design, but it's, I got a lot of numbers. This is the large version by Artisy and by Landon Afromov, and this is my current progress. This is 40 count. I think it's platinum. I could be wrong. 1/1 half cross, and I got 1,263 half stitches, and the center of the design is like right about here. So I have gotten over to where that is, which is kind of a fun milestone. So that's really fun. Lots of colors. Not a whole lot going on. It's just the background still, but it's very colorful, which is really fun. Happy with that. And then I did a little bit on Spring Montage. Not a great amount, but because I was working on the turtles a little bit extra to try to get those closer to caught up. But this is by Pain Free Crafts, artwork by Janet Stever. Just working along the top, filling in things and filling in with my thread wherever it happens to go. This one is tricky because there's a lot of light colors, so you may, seeing what I did is sometimes tricky because they blend in with the fabric or they're just too light. So I think there's a few colors that were darker this time, so hopefully we'll be able to see what I did. I did 248 stitches. Oh, Delightful Waltz is now 1.45%, and this one is now 1.71%. And this one I also got to the halfway point. It's right here. So that's fun always to kind of see the scale. This is 28 count Mushroom Lugana, 1/1, full cross. I thought the full crosses would be helpful for keeping the details crisp. So it is going a little slower because of that, but I'm okay with it. It looks nice. So hopefully you can see a little bit of a difference, and I'll keep pulling that out for my seasonal Sundays. And hopefully I can get caught up on my turtles so I can spend more time on this one throughout the day on Sunday. Oh, that's this one. So I think that's all I worked on. So we can talk about plans. This coming week, I have my daughter's piece will be my last family piece for the month. Technically, I mean, my last official, like, I will be working on Dragon Ride during my monthly rotation next week, the last 2 days of the month, because I'm rearranging things a little bit to accommodate some new starts. So I'll be working on Lollipop this week, today and tomorrow. This is by Tilton Crafts. She's so sweet. So we'll see how much I can get done on her. She is also, just like Bear Time Stories, 1/1, half cross on 40 count Verdal. So that's my starting point. And then I'm going to have a new start on Wednesday. So originally, I've planned on 12 new starts this year, 1 per month. And my April new start was going to be the Azure ornament. That's kind of like it's got a lot of Jessica Stitch type kaleidoscope spiral graph looking stuff on it, which should be pretty fun. That was slotted for April. And then I had Rainbow Princess by Stitch Witch Cat slotted for May, because Kat is going to stitch this too. She's going to start this with me. And I am friends with Kat here on Flosstube. She hasn't made videos in a while, but she's also on Instagram, and she's the one that enabled me to stitch all the seasonal montages, so you can blame her for that. But we're going to start this together. She was originally going to start this in May, so we've been planning this for a May start, but recently she had gotten to a good stopping point on her spring montage, I think. And so she wanted to start this one on Wednesday to go with the new moon. I think that's why. So I rearranged everything to start with her to accommodate that. So I'll start this in April and then start the Azure ornament in May. So I'm going to probably do that one on May 1st, just to kind of go along with, you know, in case people tend to start a lot of things in May. So I'm going to go ahead and start it on the 1st, just so if I see lots of starts, I won't get FOMO. I'll have my start. It'll be right there ready to go. So, so this one, I'm going to work on 25 count khaki. I believe this is Lugana. I'm going to do it 1/1. So I've been I had a lot of ideas of what I might stitch this pattern on, but I've been really enjoying my Cats and Hearts, which is 25 count 1/1. I only have one other full coverage piece, 25 count 1/1. It's currently my Elegant Lady with a Bouquet, I think is what it's called. I get the name of this one mixed up all the time. It is Elegant Lady, Mini Elegant Lady with a Bouquet. This is the only other one I have on 25 count 1/1. I had done Quick Stitch Iris that way and loved it. So I'm like, well, I'm really enjoying that style, and so I want to do another one. Can't hurt to have more than one, right? With the same type of thing. So I had this larger piece in my stash. I think it was a fat half, and I cut off the piece I needed. So I'm going to start that on Wednesday and give it 2 days. Then I will pull out my Whipco piece, my last Whipco piece for April, which is on my non-full coverage Whipco board, and it was Lady of the Flag is the one that was pulled. So I'll give this Friday and Saturday. And I think I was working in the flag. I'm not 100% sure. I might have finished the blue, and so I can work on stripes maybe, or maybe even some of her dress. Honestly, we'll have to look at it here to see what I need to do, but let's take a gander, shall we? So this one is on, I believe, 32 count Stony Point linen by Witchell. It's like a blue-green color. And yes, it looks like I finished the blue, including beads. So there's some beads in the stars. And her head is done, her arm is done, except for back stitching, it looks like. So I could work on stripes and dress. So we'll see what I'm in the mood for. So there's my starting point on that one. And that will be fun. Give that 2 days. And I think WhipGo numbers for May should be coming out probably Thursday. So you'll notice I'm not working on Dragon Ride this week because I'm gonna swap it with the last these last 2 days in April were gonna be my new start. So I moved the new start slot up here and moved my focus piece slot down here. So there isn't gonna be a focus piece slot this week. I'll do it here, and then I'll have my May new start right here and continue on with Dragon Ride throughout the month on all of these Wednesday, Thursdays in May. Hopefully I can get it done because my son's done with 8th grade at the very end of May. So I guess the 30th or 31st is probably his last day. So I would love to be able to give it to him, you know, when the school year is over. So hopefully I guess that's 8, 9, 10 days of marginal stitching time, and it's all back stitching that's left and some beads in the border. So wish me luck. I think that's everything I have to show. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Enjoy what you're working on, and happy stitching. Bye.